All right, guys, welcome on into the new 22 Expedition. This is the Timberline, and it is boasting a 15.5-inch display as well as a digital dash instrument cluster. It's 12.3 inches, and we've got 15.5 on this side. Also got this tactile knob right here for the volume control. It is very beautiful in how its function and operation is. Going along the dash, you've got a B&O stereo system in this one. This is 12 speakers. In Platinum and King Ranch, you can get 22 speakers in that vehicle. This screen will also be in those two trim lines, the King Ranch and the Platinum. You can also get it in the limited Stealth package, which most people I think are really excited to see and test drive that one. Going across this dashboard right here, you have this beautiful, elegant leather embroidered into the dashboard. You have the orange stitching that we've seen from the outside of the vehicle, as well as you've got some of that orange unique accenting going on, going across the dash and all the way wrapping back around. It's extremely exquisite. And then coming through into your steering wheel, where it is also stitched in the orange accenting, as well as all the seats going from the driver and passenger all the way back. The door paneling, you've got this beautiful leather wrapped door panel that's just absolutely beautiful. It is very, very plush, premium leather. One thing you'll absolutely love to see is in the Timberline, it's a cypress green leather. It is really dark green. You almost can't tell until you're looking at the dashboard and then you see the blacks with the dark green, and it's almost like your eyes play a trick on you. So it's really cool. It's bringing some of that dark green nature interior or exterior that you would see out in the nature to the interior of the car, giving this more rugged off-road appearance and feel to the vehicle. So coming from the left to the right of the vehicle in this Timberline, you're seeing that orange accenting just above your glove box. And a really cool feature about that is there's a button right here that actually secretly opens an upper glove compartment where some folks may leave their driver's license or their insurance just to have quick access to them, grab them, maybe show the cop if you're speeding in this super fast SUV Raptor. And/or you got access to your glove box, of course, down here, which is a lockable glove box, as well as the center console. So this is still a lockable source. Coming along moving on over towards me, you've got a 12-volt outlet right here. And then moving past that, you've got Pro Trailer Backup Assist. So this vehicle is equipped with Pro Trailer Backup Assist. It's really gonna allow you to not have a ground guide behind you, helping you to connect a trailer. You can do it all from in here with all the cameras that Ford has. It's a very beautiful setup and easy to do. Pro Trailer Backup Assist is basically going to take control of the steering and it's going to do the inverted motion. So if you're not familiar with backing up with the trailer, it'll do the actual inverted motion. So if I need my trailer to go left, I'll just turn this left, steering wheel will go right, and it does it all for me. So it's a great feature. All right, so turning on the Ford vehicle, you got the beautiful Ford logo showing up on this 15.5-inch display, and I'm gonna show you just how easy it is to use this screen. It's very simple. Okay, couple quick things. I've got Sirius XM radio on these quick tabs. You can scroll just by swiping, all right? If I wanna remove one of these and add something else, it's super simple. These are just quick tabs. As I mentioned, I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna pull down, and you're seeing this trash can show up. It's gone. However, if I wanna use one of these quick tabs, which most likely you will set these up to where you can use them, you're just gonna grab and throw it up to the top, and then there you go. Simple as that. That is a really nice menu. Makes it super easy for each and every one of your family members, including yourself, to navigate those quick menus that you use on a day-to-day basis in your vehicle without having to go through a bunch of other windows to get there. Okay, so unlike our previous Expedition in 2021 and below, we had tactile AC and HVAC controls, but we no longer have those. Now we're on this 15.5-inch display. For this particular vehicle, we're gonna have a digital setup. So here is a fan. You can click that fan button. You can drag it up to the speed you'd like it to be at. Air will start rushing through the cab. You can set it exactly where you want to. You also have 3 modes of auto. You've got low, medium, and high. So if you are one of those people that love to use auto, especially here in Texas, it works really well to cool down the car using outside or inside air, depending on which one's cooler. That's what auto is designed to do. You have your heated steering wheel button right here next to the fan. You also have your heated and cooled seats. So on the Timberline, you're gonna have heated and cooled seats. On the Limited, you'll have heated and cooled seats all the way till XLT. It's a really, really great feature to have, especially down here in Texas. It gets super hot, so awesome. You've got your max defrost, you've got your rear air, and your passenger's heated and cooled seat. Now in this vehicle, you will have heated second row for your second row passengers. They will have heated seats, but up in the front will be the only heated and cooled section for driver and passenger only. You can also change direction of your air by clicking on the button here, and then you can change it to, if you want it directed towards your face as shown in the image here, and or you can have it directed towards face and feet, or you can have it directed towards face, feet, and if you want it on the defrost, you can direct it pretty much everywhere you want. In previous vehicles, it would deselect certain options. Now you can direct it anywhere you want. So that's a really great feature. You can also control the rear air from here. So if you click on rear, you can turn it to the temperature you'd like it to be. The rear passengers can also control their own air if you'd like to, but if you've got some kids that are getting out of control a little bit and they want to play around too much with the dials and just get tired of it, you can also lock them out by clicking the lock button right there. So moving on over, let's get out of this AC system here. I'm gonna click on, matter of fact, I'm gonna click on front to show you that you can get back to the front. I'm gonna go ahead and click these off because I'm not too concerned about that. Go back to Duo. So Duo is gonna allow the driver and passenger to match. But now I'm gonna take you to the middle button here. So this middle stacked icon button is gonna bring up your radio, it's gonna bring up your phone, your navigation, your Bluetooth, it'll bring up Android Auto, it'll bring up Apple Carplay, it'll bring your owner's manual up, and Sketch. With more things to come. There's tile games, there's a Sketch, so those are really cool for the kids. When they get bored, they can come over here and they can just simply type in, you know, Raptor, right? Write it in, Raptor Expedition. That's what I'm dubbing this. This is a Raptor Expedition, not a Timberline. You can hit save, and it'll save to the memory bank. So if I ever want to go back to that, I'm good to go. So that's really fun. You can do that. And then there will be even more updates coming out on this. So this 15.5-inch display is actually going to update precisely how your phone does. So as more technology comes out, as more applications come out that are user-friendly while driving and while not driving, i.e. I know Maki is supposedly getting Netflix while charging. Well, same display, should be possible to get it on here as well while in park mode. So that will be super, super cool. We're looking forward to what Ford's gonna do in regards to using this big giant screen to display multimedia for the family and for the rest of the vehicle. You've got your radio up here, as mentioned before.
So I can shine.
Really, really, really easy to get through these menus just by tapping that button. Now coming over here to the vehicle, we'll tap on the vehicle. We're gonna be showing icons such as cameras and towing and trail turn assist, as we talked about on this vehicle. You can also put the vehicle in valet mode. That's a pretty important mode, and I think everyone should use it. If you're valeting your car, put in the little 5-digit, 4-digit PIN. It'll lock down all your personal details and data as to where you live, all your friends, all the very important information that ties you to this vehicle. It'll be locked down. It'll also put the vehicle in kind of a transport mode so they can't hot rod your vehicle around, that's another good thing. So valet mode is a really great mode if you valet your car. It's super quick. You just tap on the button and you're gonna put in that 4-digit PIN. Memorize that 4-digit PIN. Please do not forget it. Otherwise, you have to bring it to Ford to get it undone. And so that's a great feature there. All right, guys, so for trail turn assist, I've got to have the vehicle running for this option, so I'm going to go ahead and click that button. You can see it's highlighted in yellow. So now we're ready to make that turn left or right. And when we make that left or right turn, we're going to lock up that rear tire to the direction in which we're turning, so we can make those really tight hairpin turns that no one else can make except for Bronco and the new upcoming Raptor, and of course this vehicle here. And then coming from there, you also have zone lighting. So zone lighting is going to allow you to turn on any light that's white exterior to flood an entire zone. Good example of that, I'm going to go ahead and power it on. It's telling me that it wants to override. Now you can do this from your Ford Pass too. As soon as you update the new Ford Pass app, it'll allow you to turn on any light exterior. So right now I'm showing the headlights to be on. I can turn on the side mirror lights, and I can also turn on the white lights in the back. So we're talking about reverse, so everywhere, 360. I can also turn the high beams on in the front if I want to. So I've got my side marker lights, everything white light on the exterior of the vehicle is now turned on, and simply I can turn it off with a touch of a button if I'd like to. So it's a really good feature if you're in this off-road rugged vehicle and you go hiking or kayaking or rock climbing and you kind of forgot where you left your vehicle, but yet you don't want to scare everybody else from starting your vehicle. You can just turn on all the white lights and spot it from a distance just by flooding the area with light, right? So even if you're so far away that you can't hear your vehicle, you can see it through a dark wooded forest when you turn on all the high beams and all the white lights from 360 degrees around the vehicle. It's really going to help those adventurers and those outdoors to find it. But this feature is also available on every single lineup from XLT all the way up, as well as your F-150s and some of the newer upcoming vehicles that are on the Sync 4 system for Ford. You've got your towing feature right here. So right now I don't have any active trailer. Ford is asking us for you guys to, if you are going to be trailering on Expedition, to add the type of trailer it is. Don't just put in there trailer 1, trailer 2, trailer 3. Make sure it's like ski-doo trailer, boat trailer, mulch hauler trailer. If it's a lawnmower trailer, something like that. And then put the details of what you're hauling back there. So what is the dimensions of the trailer, so that the blind spot monitoring system and your reverse guidance system and your Pro Trailer Backup Assist know exactly what they're moving. And then moving on to cameras, this is the coolest thing ever. A lot of folks don't even know about this, and a lot of your salespeople will probably, from other dealerships, I'm not going to say from Haik because I work for Haik, but a lot of folks are not going to be able to tell you about this because they simply just don't know. It's such a brand new feature to not only the F-150 and the Sync 4 system, but also in this vehicle here. You can click on this plus button right here, and you can click forward, and it will show you where your tires are going to be in the future. So while you're doing that off-roading, or you're simply driving past maybe a vehicle that got into an accident on the highway and you're going really slow and you want to make sure that you have a tight area to squeeze through, that you're not running over that piece of metal that's in there or some broken glass to pop your tire, you can navigate outside of your vehicle through this bird's eye view, and it's going to show you where your tires are. So as I turn this wheel, it's going to show me where I'm going to go. So I can turn it left or I can turn it right, and it's going to show me my path. So I can avoid those tree stumps, those big rocks, everything off-roading. If I'm doing that, I can see where I'm going to go. And the same thing happens in reverse. Now, on the F-150, same as this, you have to physically be in reverse for it to show the tire tracks, but it will do the same exact thing. 360 camera, right? Now, if I click this side, I can zoom into this corner and I can see what's going on this corner of the vehicle. I can go ahead and zoom out. I can click the back corner if I'd like, see what's going on back there. And so it's a really nice feature to have. I can also click this button right here. Sorry, I clicked it really fast. I can click this button right here and I can show my reverse camera should I choose. It's gonna show up here. I can show my front camera if I'd like to, should I so choose. I can also show 180-degree camera up here in the front, so I can see completely left and completely right. One of the things I like to tell folks about using this feature is if you're coming out of someone's house where there's bushes or walls really tall, or let's use like an alleyway for example, and it goes out to a really busy street, this is an excellent feature to see who's coming and going down that busy street so you don't stick your nose out there and get your front end taken off. Nobody wants that, especially in these beautiful new Expeditions. So great feature to do that. You can use it in reverse as well. So again, you have to be in that reverse mode and you can see this 180-degree view. Coming back, this is one of my favorite new views that's also on the F-150. It's coming down to the Expedition, is the trailer tow hitch camera. So it looks directly down at the ball, allowing you to connect without any other people around you or assistance. So have you ever had a time when you are backing up a trailer and you've got to have a buddy back there so that you don't hit your boat trailer into the back of your bumper? I'm sure we all have. This feature allows you to see where that hitch is in correlation to your ball, which would essentially be right where that little light is there shining off of our floor. And it'll allow you to connect it without needing anybody else, which is great. So it really allows you to be independent while moving around freely and keeping everyone else safe. So we're gonna go on back and head through a little bit more further in details on this screen. We're gonna talk about the navigation. So you have this 3D button here, and you also have the Where To. You can click the voice to talk on the Ford, and it will recognize your voice over time. Kind of like when you're saying, hey Siri or hey Google, you can say, hey Ford, and it'll start recognizing your voice over time, and it'll really get your words down. Just like your phone understands you really well, this vehicle will also understand you in the same mannerisms. So as you use that button, it's a one touch. I want to mention this. While you're using this, it's one touch, we'll talk to Ford. So if I quickly touch it, I'm talking to the Ford system, and then while I'm connected via my phone over Bluetooth on Android Auto or on my Apple device, I click and hold for a second, and then it'll bring up that Android device.
Search for your vehicle on your device.
Obviously, it's looking for it, and I haven't set it up yet, but we'll get to that in just a moment. I just want to make sure you guys know how that works. And that's the same true for the F-150, also on the Sync 4 system. So per the navigation here, you've got a 3D mode and a 2D mode. So right now we're in the 2D mode. We can click the 3D mode and it will, we can click the 3D mode and it will bring us to a three-dimensional view. It's showing that we're at 69 feet of elevation. You can tap on that. It'll show you if you want to change it to location, or if you want to change it to direction, you can do north. Want to change it to Houston, you can put it as Houston. And once you have a set map, it'll also show you arrival distance and arriving in via arrival, and also via distance. So right now I'm going to go ahead and set it back to elevation because I think that's super cool in this particular vehicle, considering it's an off-road vehicle. And then Houston is already hit here. We've got north, and then we also have, then we have tools. So you can look at things like ahead of you, what's ahead of you, exit services. You can look at live traffic. So it's exactly like your phone. This vehicle does. This particular unit has a 90-day built-in live feed navigation. Your Platinum and King Ranch, they will have a 3-year, after which it is, I believe it's a yearly subscription if you want them live updates, but it doesn't mean that your navigation will go away. It'll be there. It'll be built into the system. It's just your live feeds, they won't be there. So I've had people ask me about that. Customers ask me, well, after that subscription, does my navigation system go away? No, it doesn't. Just the live traffic updates and the live feed coming in does. Okay, exiting there, you've got same thing as we clicked over on this side, clicking on the compass. You've got the north, and then I believe I clicked on north, I'm sorry. So you've got north, so each one of these, you can change. So if I want this one to say Houston, I can make it say Houston. If I want this one to give me the direction, I can make it say direction. So it's very customizable. And then when I click on Houston, I've got where I am. So I've got what's going on around me. You know, your rural speed limits, your city speed limits that's near and around here, your highway speeds. So moving on to the navigation on the 15.5 inch display, as you can see here, these buttons down here, elevation and the north, you can customize those. You can make them whatever you'd like them to be and or interchange them. So in this one, I can make it say north or Houston. So it's showing Houston, which is redundant because I already have Houston right there. But I can also click on this side and I can make it say elevation. So I can change those up however I like to see the map. So if I want to get to my quick tabs, they are down here, but if I want to expand those, I can click this button right here and it'll expand those options for me so I know what I'm looking at. So in this case, TikTok, excuse me, on the radio. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and start pairing your phone. Now, as I mentioned before, it is Bluetooth, Apple Carplay, and Android Auto. For this demonstration, I'm gonna use an iPhone, and I'm going to click over here on the settings button, and then I'm going to turn my Bluetooth on, in which case it is, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click on the screen, add phone. So I'm gonna open up this Bluetooth settings, and I'm gonna click add device on my main screen.
Search for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
I'm going to then search for Ford Expedition. I'm gonna click on it.
Confirm that the pin displayed on sync matches the pin displayed on your device.
Showing the pin number is correct. I'm gonna go ahead and not allow to add contacts at this time.
For your safety, please stay alert to changing road conditions and use Sync's voice-activated features while your vehicle is in motion.
So I'm gonna hit finish here. And now it's asking me if I'd like to use CarPlay. So I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. I'm gonna hit ignore for now. And I'm gonna enable CarPlay. I'm gonna go ahead and say CarPlay. And now my Apple CarPlay is now pushed onto the phone. Now that's roughly a 11-inch, 10-inch screen right there, and it's exactly where you want it to be as a driver. So while you're driving down the road, you want to be able to just take a quick glance, and you're seeing that this is in line with the dashboard. I'm not taking my eyes physically off the road. I can still keep my visual contact with the road. Instead of looking directly down, I can glance over because it's such a large screen. I can see where I need to go and pay attention more to the road. This is something that Ford does really well, and it's something that they're adopting really well for their products is keeping your navigation, keeping your phone at the highest end of the screen so your peripherals can still be on the road versus you taking your entire face and looking downwards and being completely a distracted driver in that case. Now, CarPlay is designed for folks who would normally be on their phone while driving. It's designed to be up here. You're not gonna have access to YouTube or anything like that because that will distract you as a driver. It will read the text messages to you. It'll see your phone logs. It'll allow you to answer the phone via the steering wheel. And you can communicate rather well just going through those two channels, and this will keep you from being a distracted driver. But should you be a distracted driver, we have all the safety features in place, and I'll show those to you next. So this is your CarPlay setup. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a big display. You can click the little squares down here, and you can sort of go through some of the options that you have set on your phone. If you're curious to know what apps can be added, when we started to sync the phone, it asked us to go to the Google Play Store, or I'm sorry, excuse me, it asked us to go to the Apple Play Store, and that will actually show you all the capable applications that you can use on your screen while connected through CarPlay, because like I mentioned, not all applications will be available to be used. So big ones are like Waze, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Maps. This one says Zoom, and Telegram, so it'll use a lot of different things that you're really comfortable with to get you interacting with friends and family on different platforms. It'll allow those to pull up, so it's really easy to use. And again, you no longer have to plug in, so that's great. because down here, got a wireless charge pad. So we can then set our phone up. Should it be wireless charge capable, we'll stick the phone down there and it should ping. Should this phone be capable? Oh, sure did. So it's pinging up here that you have a battery and it's connected and it's currently charging the phone. So you don't actually have to physically look down there at the phone. You just have to see that this little lightning bolt battery is on and it's showing you that the phone is currently charging, as well as over here, it is showing you on the display that the phone is currently charging. So that is how you connect your phone up to CarPlay and or Android Auto. Works both the same way and both really, really simple and easy to do. All right, folks, so now I'm gonna get into the driver's assistance packages on these vehicles. And I'm gonna click this button right here. So just quickly how I got there, excuse me, I clicked on the vehicle up here at the top left and I clicked on settings. And then I'm clicking on driver's assistance. One of the really cool new features that we have is auto hold. So what this will allow you to do is while you're in bumper to bumper traffic, or if you're in them drive-throughs, picking up the kiddos, sticking them in the back, while the vehicle's in drive, as you put your foot on the brake, it'll hold you in your spot while you're in that bumper to bumper traffic. And then once traffic starts to move, you can you can tap the gas. It'll release the brake and then allow you to move forward. As you put your foot back on the brake, it'll hold you again so you can actually rest your legs after those long days of driving or after the treacherous traffic you've been in all day. So give your leg a break. Auto hold is exactly that feature. You've got adaptive cruise control and you've also got it with lane centering technology. So this is a steering assist. As the highway takes a turn, you'll feel that it assists you in taking that turn. In case you become a distracted driver for whatever reason, you spill your coffee or you have to reach back and yell at the kiddos for whatever reason, if your hands come off the wheel accidentally, this vehicle will help to steer center in the lane. So no longer is it going to bounce off of the lane, it's going to center in the lane. So while you're in adaptive cruise control, you've got that steering assist, we'll call it, as lane centering technology. And then you've got speed sign recognition. So this vehicle will read speed signs directly off of the street. It'll physically read the street signs as it's driving down the road. It's really a great feature. It's super cool. And then in doing so, Ford's awesome at this. They're gonna allow you to put a tolerance to while you're in cruise control. Do you wanna be 5 miles over the speed limit? Do you wanna be 5 miles under the speed limit? Do you wanna be 2 miles over? Do you want to be 10 miles under? You can set that up as you wish. Don't break the law, do the speed limit. That's what I recommend. So I would leave this one alone, but you do what you can handle. Moving on down, you've got the lane keeping system. So this one's going to be your lane keeping. Like I mentioned, as I'm leaning outside of my lane, it's going to pull me back into my lane. The sensitivity is set to normal. You can set it to high, you can set it to low. You can also turn that feature off if you'd like to. This one's set to alert, so it's not actually going to change us. It's just going to notify us by vibrating the steering wheel that we are leaving our lane accidentally. We can set it to aid, which will pull us slightly back in. It's very gradual. It's about a 2-pound pull. So it's very easy to overcome if you are a person who doesn't use their blinker and they have this enabled and you're intentionally changing lanes and it gives you a little fight. It's about a 2-pound pull, so it's really easy to just negate that and go through it. But if you're not a blinker user, you probably should just have it to alert, just in case. And then you have alert and aid. So you have both of those features, which will not only vibrate the steering wheel to let you know you're leaving your lane, but it'll also assist you in moving back in your lane. So that's the lane keeping system, folks. And then moving down, you got pre-collision assist. You got it here with emergency braking, and you've got it with evasive steering. So with the evasive steering, what that's showing you is, I'm going to show you this tutorial. In this image here, you can see that we have a white line here. Now, it will not go over that white line. And some folks have asked, they said, well, why wouldn't it go over a solid white line? Well, simply because the vehicle doesn't know if there's a guardrail there or if there's 10 feet of concrete. We just don't know. So out of safety, we're never going over the white line. We will pass a dotted line or a striped line, if you will. It'll allow for maneuver there, but it's always going to read 10 cars out and it's gonna make sure that lane is safe to maneuver into. If not, it'll just apply the brakes and do its very best to keep you and your family safe within it. This is a last second reaction. So these two vehicles in this image are following way too closely at probably too fast of speeds. And so if this driver in front applies the brakes really, really hard, the Expedition doesn't have time via its speed and weight to apply the emergency brakes, but it will have the room for it to maneuver evasively around that vehicle. Should you have this turned on, this feature turned on, it will do that for you. If you don't, then what it will do is it will simply apply the brakes and hope that you don't get in that accident. All right, so that's evasive steering, folks. Moving on down, you've got distance indicator. That's really just going to show you the distance in which you start to get too close to the person in front of you. I like to leave that feature on. Basically, all these safety features that Ford's providing us, I love them all. I think they're great for keeping you and your family safe. So that's a great feature. It's just going to show you up here on the digital dash, and we'll show you a little bit later how that works, but it's going to show us the distance between the vehicle in front of us. We talked about emergency braking. So if in the event that evasive steering doesn't happen, or we don't get to the level where we're following too closely, emergency braking, if you don't apply the brakes while you're approaching a vehicle too fast, the vehicle will apply the brakes for you. It does work. I've had several customers tell me it works, and they said, thank God you turned it on when I bought the car, because they never would have turned it on, and it saved them and their family from having to go to the auto body or having to go into the hospital, God forbid. But it's a great feature. It really does work. It works really, really well. The way Ford's done it is they've calculated speed to distance on the vehicle, including the weight, and it registers and knows how fast or how much room it has before it can completely stop before hitting another vehicle. They did an excellent job on that software, and it works really, really, really well. Moving on down, you got blind spot monitoring system. It's going to be in the left and right side mirror. It will indicate in yellow. It is not an audible sound. I've been asked that several times. Does Ford have an audible sound for blind spot? No, we don't. It's going to flash in yellow and let you know. So when you want to make that lane change, 90% of the time you're going to make that lane change while using the mirror. So it's going to show you that someone's there if someone truly is there. The reason we don't do an audible sound is because we don't need to scare the driver while they're in the driver's seat to make a maneuver accidentally. So we don't put an audible sound on it. You've got cross traffic alert. I can show you that in this little image here. So as we're backing out of this spot, we have two big vehicles to the right and left of us, and we can't really see what's behind us. I did say you can use that 180-degree reverse view on camera. You can, 9 times out of 10. You'll probably just be on your way trying to get out of this place pretty quick, not trying to get through the camera menus too much. And you'll just put it in reverse and back up. This car will completely stop, avoiding that accident. Now that's car, pedestrian, bicyclist, motorcyclist, big trucks, cars, you name it. It'll stop for anything that's moving behind the vehicle. In fact, it'll notify you that an object is moving before it applies the brakes. It'll say object approaching, and it'll do arrows while you're backing up. So that's a really great feature as well. Reverse brake assist. So it's just saying here that if you're backing up, essentially as you're backing up the vehicle, reverse brake assist is automatically going to apply the brakes if you come too close to an object and you haven't applied the brakes for the vehicle. So it's a great last second emergency brake should you not be paying attention and backing up your vehicle so you don't hit another object. Driver alert, one of my favorite ones. It's going to show you a coffee cup should you get tired while you're driving down the road and you're using the lane keeping technology, not the lane centering, but the lane keeping, and you keep leaning outside of your lane and it's trying to pull you back in, and it continually keeps happening. Ford's going to show you this driver alert, and it's going to be a mug of coffee and say, you need to probably get a cup of coffee because it seems as though you're lethargic and tired this morning or tonight. So it's a really fun fun animation that comes up to kind of notify you that, hey, you've been leaning outside of your lane a little bit too much today, and maybe we need to stop and take a break or take a rest. All right, guys, so on the new 22 Expedition, the steering wheel, we have some new configurations for the button, which is very much so the same on the new F-150. But just to show you, in case you guys are unfamiliar with it, you've got a vehicle with a speedometer. So that's gonna be the cruise control on button. You've got the set, so once I hit that speed and I wanna hit the set button, I wanna control that speed at that limit. I can also hit the set button again. There's a little plus icon next to it. I can add mile per hour. If I hold it down, I can add several miles an hour if I'd like to. I've got the exit cruise control, which is also can be done by your foot brake, and or you can reduce mile an hour by hitting the set button negative, and it will reduce mile an hour while you're in that cruise control. Now, you don't have to be in adaptive. You can put it in normal if you want to, and or you can put it in cruise control by speed limit. So it'll register the speed limit sign, and like I said, you have that tolerance, so you can adjust it as necessary should you want to. Over on this button right here, you've got a vehicle with several lines underneath of it. That's your adaptive cruise control. So that's setting the distance between you and the person in front of you while you're using that adaptive cruise control technology. And then you've got that driver's assistance lane centering technology. So different from the lane keeping, as mentioned before, lane centering is going to help us steer the car while we're taking turns on the highway, or just help us to stay in the center of the lane as we're driving the vehicle. You've got the volume button for reducing volume control, and then you've got the positive button to increase. You've also got the voice to talk. So this button, as I mentioned before, if I want to talk to Siri, I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to say, Siri, how's my new Ford Expedition Raptor?
I don't know what you mean by, and I'm gonna say, Siri, how's my new Ford Expedition Raptor?
Good, now she's got it saved, so we're in a Ford Expedition Raptor. Moving along to the other side, we've got a back button, an up, okay, and down, and then our menu button. That is going to control the digital display behind us, as well as below that bar, we have the hang up button and or pickup, and then you've got skip track left or right. So that is your steering wheel controls on this particular vehicle. Now we're gonna jump into the digital dash. All right, guys, so now we're in the digital cluster, and we're gonna use the controls on the steering wheel, on the right side of the steering wheel above the silver bar. And I'm gonna just go ahead and click on, I'm gonna click on My View. So as you can see here, I'm showing the driver's assistance. I can show fuel economy and reset that by clicking the OK button, as it says there. I can show my trip 1, and then I can configure my view. I love this feature, so I'm going to go ahead and click the OK button, and I can select what I want to see. So if I want to see tire pressures, if I want to see who's in seat belts, if I want to see off-road and power distribution, I can do that. I can do the trailer light check status if I'd like to, but I'm not going to add trailer light check status right now. I'm going to go ahead and go back, and I'm just going to go through my view, and I'm going to click down. I'm going to click down again. We've already seen these views. Now I've got tire pressure status. Click down again. I can see that I am not buckled up in the seatbelt. And I've got my off-road status. So this is the he and the haw. So as I'm traveling through those mountainous zones or off-roading somewhere, I can see how much pitch and angle the vehicle has, just to make sure that we're safe and we're not going to tip over. So that's a great feature, great option where you can adjust everything. On top, you've got your heat, your water temperature. So how cold or hot the water is on this particular engine. You've got the oil, so is it hot or is it cold? Right now it's cold. You've got the boost, so PSI, that's your turbochargers. You got one on each side of the engine. It's showing up to 20 PSI of boost. And then your fuel gauge. You've got down below, you've got the park, reverse, neutral, drive, and manual modes. And then you've got what type of music we've listened to last, so it looks like Numb Little Bug on this particular person's phone. We've got the Lane centering selected. It's also going to show us direction. We are facing north currently and the vehicle's mileage. And then if you noticed over here, you've got the little adaptive cruise control, the distance indicator underneath of the digital, mile an hour tab, which is great. And then on this side of the screen, you have the digital RPMs. So that's really cool. Clicking on over to trips, we already sort of went into that. Driver's assistance, we already touched that too, so it's under the My View. I'm gonna go ahead and back out of that. You can click on vehicle information. So you can click on tire pressure from here if you'd like to, or you can add it as a quick menu as we already did. The off-road status, you can click on it from here, or you can add it as a quick menu as well as we already did, or power distribution if you'd like to. But engine information, as we've added those My Views, now I have quick tabs to where I can really enjoy the creature comforts out of this vehicle and just look at the menus that I want to look at on my dashboard. Now I'm going to take you into the towing feature of it. And so in this section, I can show the trailer's information. That's where I'm adding what type of trailer it is. I can do a trailer light check as I stated before. I can also look at the trailering status. On the trailering status, I can show what type of braking is happening on those electronic brakes for the trailer. So as you can see here, I've got the haw, so I know what degrees the vehicle is, and then it's showing me my gain, so I don't have any gain. But if I want to hit some gain, I can just click the gain button on the electronic trailer brakes, and it's slowly adding that. Now, why is that important? Some folks say, what do I need electronic trailer brakes set up for? Well, simply put, and when you hit your brakes, your taillights light up as bright as they can. That same signal is being sent to the brakes on the electronic trailer, if you have electronic trailer brakes, excuse me. So it's just gonna clamp the brakes completely shut. Even if you barely tap the brake, it's just gonna send a signal to clamp those brakes shut as hard as they can. And we don't want that to happen, right? So we want the trailer and the vehicle to slow down at the same pace. So that's what we're using this plus and minus for. We're reducing how much power is going to the trailer brakes when I touch the brake. All right, so now moving from the trailer status, which we just talked about, is controlling the brakes and how much the trailer, how much energy is getting pushed into the trailer brakes as we hit the brakes here in the vehicle. We're gonna move on over to trailer light status. So yes, it's correct. You can check the lights on your trailer while connected by clicking on this mode, and it'll detect if there's any out lights on your trailer. That's a really great feature. Love that feature there. And then moving up, we've got trailer information. So in this window, it's kind of like a trailer trip information, if you will. So it's showing us how much distance we've traveled with the trailer, at what fuel economy, and then also what was the gain on the brakes. This information, you can save it with each trailer that you build. So as you're adding multiple different trailers, and I believe you can add up to 10 different trailers in this system, you can change them and understand what gain needs to happen with those particular trailers. So it'll sort of lock down that data and save it for you so that you can always resort back to it and know that, hey, while I was towing on this trailer, I had 3 gain, so that my trailer brakes weren't braking so hard when I hit the brakes because it's a really light trailer. Or vice versa, I had 1 gain and my trailer was really, really heavy. So that's a really cool option. Really, really cool that Ford has that set up for you guys while you're towing in your vehicles. Okay, so much like the Raptor, how it has separate drive modes, and much like the previous Expeditions and the Ford F-150s, this one is gonna have awesome drive modes. The dial is right here, and I'm just gonna rotate it. That's gonna open the main menu here for me to change it. So I'm gonna rotate it, it's gonna open the main menu, I'm gonna change it. So in this one, I'm going to eco mode. That's gonna give us the best fuel economy possible. It's gonna reduce the amount of RPMs that the transmission is using, so it's gonna allow it to stay at low RPMs and reduce how much fuel is being consumed by the engine. So it's gonna try to optimize the best fuel economy possible by leaning out the fuel consumption. So I'll click again, and then I'll rotate one more time to switch into a new drive mode. And now I'm in the sports mode. In this particular sports mode, you notice over there on my left-hand side, I'm now in 4 automatic. So what that means is if a tire spins on the rear where it's predominantly producing power, it will automatically engage 4-wheel drive. This is a mode a lot of people just like to leave on all the time, and you certainly can do so. You'll primarily be in 2-wheel drive unless a slippage happens. So in the rain or while racing or going fast, put it in 4 auto. If you slip, it'll automatically hook 4-wheel drive and off you go. The beautiful thing about switching these different drive modes, if you haven't noticed already in looking at them, you're changing the entire dynamics of the digital display. So it's not just, oh, you're in sports mode. Now it's, hey, let's change the animations. Let's make red gauges. Let's make different gauges. So it's really, really cool how they do that. Rotating over, now I'm in trailer haul. This one also looks to be recommending a 4 auto. So we're gonna stay in that 4 auto mode, but in this mode, we're actually gonna turn on the transmission cooler because we recognize that we're gonna put that transmission through its cycles and carrying whatever we're gonna be loading up in the back. As you mentioned before, 9,300 pounds, that's best in class out of everyone out there right now. So that is absolutely awesome. Going ahead and changing over again. I'm in mud and ruts because why not? This vehicle can definitely off-road extremely well, especially with those Raptor skid plates. So we're in mud and ruts mode, and now it's put us in traction control off mode, and it's also taken the transfer case and put it in 4 high. This is going to gear it particularly for off-roading. What Ford's done with these driving modes is actually really remarkable. And a lot of the technology they've scooped from the Raptors, right? And so every time you change a driving mode, you're changing how the throttle response reacts, you're changing how the transmission shifts, you're changing how much fuel is being introduced, you're changing whether the rear differential is locked or not, you're changing whether the traction control is on or not. So it's really, every time you switch the mode, you're entering a totally different dimension for the vehicle. It's completely amazing. So it's totally different. And you don't have to be a professional because Ford's already pre-mapped the entire vehicle for you. So in this one, mud and ruts, switching over, I'm in deep snow and sand. So again, taking the traction control off, I'm putting in 4 high because I need to get that traction for the vehicle. And Ford understands that. So they built this mode for me. I don't need to understand I don't need to be a professional in how to understand on that type of surface. Ford has already engineered it for me in allowing me to just put it in that drive mode and off you go. It's kind of like set it and forget it, plug and play, if you will. Moving on over to slippery and wet. This one's gonna put me in 4 automatic as mentioned before, so it's just gonna make sure that the transmission is shifting at low RPM so that we're not encouraging a slippage, and then keep us in that 4 auto, so we're getting really good fuel economy, having it on 2-wheel drive rather than 4, and then should we need it, it'll automatically kick in the 4-wheel drive. It's a really, really great feature. All these driving modes, by the way, I should mention, because it's on sync port system, they're updatable over the air, so Ford may gift us a few more driving modes, which will be really, really cool, and I'm excited to see what's coming for the future as far as driving modes here on the Expedition. So I'm over here now, I'm gonna talk about the 4-wheel drive system over here, and this is where I'm changing the drive modes. I'm just rotating this dial that says drive modes on it, and it is changing my instrument cluster and the dynamics of the vehicle in total. But you can also change to 2 high, 4 low, 4 high, or 4 automatic on any of the drive modes you see fit. I have a real quick story for you where I had a customer come in and they had bought a 2022 King Ranch Expedition. It had a 1-speed transfer case and they expected it to tow behind their RV. But unfortunately with that type of transfer case, it's not functional with flat tow. Or neutral tow, otherwise known as neutral tow. So you do need a 2-speed transfer case, which includes 2 high, 4 high and 4 low in order for you to flat tow an Expedition. Now you can do that on most F-150s because they already have those transfer cases installed, but there are 2 different types of transfer cases that you can get in the Expedition, and I just want you guys to be aware that you have to have 4 high, 4 low, and 2-wheel drive high in order to flat tow this vehicle. Now, moving along, the new shifter dial, a lot of folks, they're unfamiliar with it. They don't feel that comfortable with it. I want to tell you some really great features that I absolutely love about it. One thing that I absolutely love about this is if I go ahead and start the vehicle, and I put the vehicle in drive, now I currently do not have my seatbelt on. If I open the driver door, you've seen the shifter just went to park. So if I don't have my seatbelt on, even though I'm not moving, I've got the car in drive, it'll automatically go to park. So it's a safety feature built within this shifter dial, and I love it. If I put the vehicle in drive and I shut it off, it'll also auto park. So it's a really great feature. I'll go ahead and turn it back on really quick. Another excellent feature is if I have the vehicle completely running, completely set up, I go ahead, I'm gonna just demonstrate it now. I'm gonna take this key out of the car and I'll be back in a second. All right, so I'm back. Key's outside, I don't have it on me. It says no key detected. If I try to put this in drive, even if I got my foot on the brake, it's not moving. So those are the essential components of why this shifter is absolutely phenomenal. If you have the vehicle running and you went to the pump and then you walked inside the gas station and someone tried to come in here and steal your vehicle, they can't. They can't at all. It will not move whatsoever. So there's a lot of safety features that have been developed with this knob style shifter, this rotational style of shifter. And I think until you actually understand how it works, or you inform people on how it works, it really doesn't bring to light why it's such a cool feature to have. All right, folks, back over here on the driver's side of the vehicle, over towards this kick panel, I want to show you a few options that'll make your life really, really comfortable and convenient. Number one, this button here on the left, it actually is designed to tilt the third row headrest down so you can actually visibly turn your head around and look out that back window to make sure everything's good and you're clear to go. So you've got the poppable hatch right here where you can actually go to the grocery store. They'll fill your vehicle up for you. You never ever have to get out. You just tap that button to open the door, the hatch door, and then go ahead and tap that button when they're done to close it. Never get out of your vehicle. Situations like that is becoming more common than not, so it's great to have that feature right here inside the vehicle. Or maybe if you accidentally left it open, you can go ahead and close it right here. Too easy. On the side down here, you've got 2 side marker lights. So they're actually gonna be spotlights. They're actually gonna push a white light, as you've seen when we did the zone lighting. You can turn those buttons on right here. So over here you have a rotational switch, which adjusts the settings of your lights. So if you want your park lights on, you can turn those on. You want your lights off, you can certainly do that. You can turn it to automatic if you want your headlights to come on automatic. As it's becoming dusk outside, they'll automatically turn on. Or if you just want your headlights on full time, you can certainly select that mode as well. In the middle here is going to be your fog light button, so you can turn those fog lights on if you want to. But this is a really important button as well. So these 2 over here on the side, they're actually the local dimming for both screens, a matter of fact. So if you feel like the digital display and the center stack cluster is just too bright for you, you can go ahead and hit that negative button, kind of bringing down some of that light. It may be too sensitive to some people's eyes. Moving on down here to the bottom for the parking brake, you will have to apply your foot to apply the park applicant, and then you will have to apply your foot to release it as well. All right, so next to the parking e-brake we have on the vehicle, you have the adjustable pedals. Now these are saved with the memory settings on the door. You've got 1, 2, and 3 settings for the driver's seat. Now that will do the mirrors, the steering wheel, and this 10-way power adjustable seat right here. So you can get extremely comfortable in this driver's seat, setting up those pedals, whether they need to be in or out, and then setting this chair up or down, in or out, wherever you need it to be. We can definitely find that spot for you. So now you can see why the all-new redesigned 2022 Expedition just completely obliterates all of its competition. With Haik Ford serving the Houston area for over 40 years, you can rest assured you're gonna get that great Haik feeling. Please contact myself, Nathan Wood, or the sales team here at Haik Ford. And just remember, we're the #1 volume dealership in the nation, right here in Houston, Texas. So if you have any questions or if you have any comments, please link those down below. Hit the bell icon so you can get those notifications. Comment, like, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.